Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today I am up in northern Kentucky and stopped in to see this joker over here. Most of you guys probably recognize Steve Summers.
Yep.
Fellow YouTuber, has a really good YouTube channel. He's got a shop up here, and I was up in the area. Actually, I'm visiting another person tomorrow. We'll leave that one out right now, but had a day, and he said he was around, so we've been hanging out in the shop, working on doing some scraping.
Yep, having a good time.
And just having a good time. So anyway, I thought we'd bring you guys along for the ride and do a quick little walk around shop tour. If you're not familiar with Steve's shop, kind of show you some of the stuff he's got in here. And he's got some nice old vintage machinery.
Yes.
So
yes, I do.
Let's take a quick tour.
Sure.
All right.
Let's do it.
So first thing is probably my favorite machine because I'm just a K&T guy.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what, a 2K?
It is 2K. Yeah.
Yep, 2K, which, you know, the machine I have is a 3H, but really they're almost identical machines. The only difference between a 3K and a 2H is the speed range for all intent purposes. So this is almost identical to mine. Really nice machine. And how long have you had this one?
Going on about 2 years, I think. It's love running it. It's a nice machine.
Yeah, the K&Ts you just can't beat. And I don't know, what do you think about the horizontal mill?
I mean, I like it. You know, I use it more in horizontal than in vertical.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah, I like it. It's a lot of fun to run.
Yep. Now you've got the universal head for it down there. Great big heavy duty universal head. This one's a little bit different than the one I've got. But have you used that at all?
Yes, I've used it quite a bit, and it's definitely a great feature to have, man. It adds, basically, you know, it's like having a vertical, well, it is a vertical and horizontal machine in one, plus, you know, the rigidity of a machine like this, just with that head, you can really move some material. So it's a pleasure to use.
So one little thing I noticed down here on the end of the table, you've got this thing, which looks a lot like my lead attachment, but it's not a lead attachment. So what is that?
That will run a rotary table, which I don't have, but that's what it's for.
So it's very similar to the lead attachment, but you ran a little shaft that comes off of this that goes over to a rotary table. So if you want to mill like a spiral.
Yep, spirals or
around. I mean, it could be a circle or whatever. You could turn that thing on, and as the table moves, it rotates the rotary head around at the same time.
You can have the rotary table either vertical or horizontal, and you can cut circles or, like you said, spirals.
Yep.
You know, it's pretty neat. I've looked at a lot of old literature. Of course, I don't have that the rotary table and the attachments to go to this, but you know, maybe one day it'd be neat to get into machining some of the things that would be able to do.
Cool. All right, let's see what else you got.
So this is a Maxo surface grinder, basically a Kent, and it is I think it's a 8 by, I forget the distance, but
that looks like 18, I think, isn't
yeah,
it?
8 by 18 maybe.
That's a good size chuck.
Yeah, nice old used grinder. You know, it's not in perfect shape, but you know, it's an accurate machine for all intents and purposes. I enjoy it. Love surface grinding.
So is this made by Kent? I'm not familiar with the Maxo brand, but it does look just like a Kent.
Yeah, the castings are exactly the same. I believe it is made by Kent, but I'm not 100% for sure. This is a 1980 machine, so it's 41 years old. I think it's Taiwanese.
Okay. 1980 doesn't feel like 41 years ago to me, but
that's the year I was born, so that's why I know it's been 41 years, at least to my birthday anyway.
Cool.
But yeah, and then we got the Kaoli cutter grinder, which is a great machine, and you know, it takes a bit to get used to running one. There's, you know, a lot to the setup and stuff, but you talk about a great machine. If you enjoy setups, complicated setups, and you know, learning new things, cutter grinding is a whole world, you know, into itself.
And you know, the funny thing is over the years, I probably had half a dozen people that wanted to give me a tool and cutter grinder, and I'm like, no, I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And the reason is that tool and cutter grind, I mean, you could spend your whole career
You learning to
learning
yes,
how to properly, do
set
good
up and
grinds
grind.
sets.
This machine right here could, yes, you could spend a lifetime mastering the
Yeah, and I'm glad you got it and are using it, but I've just kind of avoided going down that rabbit
Yeah.
hole because I know that it would just
it would
become a whole
consume-
new.
it would
it could
consume
consume
much
you.
of your time.
Yeah, and no
and
more than I need stuff sharpened, I just send it off and it's sharpened.
It's fun if you just enjoy doing that kind of stuff as a hobby.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun, and that's why I like it. Plus, a lot of these old cutters like this, to buy one new, they're quite expensive.
Right.
But, just to freshen these up on this machine, relatively simple operation.
Have you done any end mills yet and spiral
Yes.
cutting and
Yes,
stuff? Cool.
I've got end mill grinding attachment and air bearing. I've got a couple of them actually, and that's relatively simple to grind the helix on an end mill.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, it's not all that
Well,
complicated.
I just sent one off to have sharpened, and I asked a bunch of people, said, where do you send your tools to get sharpened? And a bunch of people said, send it to Steve. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to do that to Steve.
Yeah. It really takes so much time, unless you're set up to do that. I mean, you will invest so much time in sharpening an end mill one-off, right, that it would be worth more than the end mill your time would
Right.
end up being.
And that's kind of my whole thing,
Yeah.
if I wanted to get in the tool and cutter grinding business, yeah, get one. But
Yeah.
for me, I'm better off using my time doing what I do, which
Yeah.
isn't sharpening cutters.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how labor intensive it is to set up
Yeah.
to grind. Let's say you had a half-inch end mill. Well, you're much better off to buy that end mill than to set up to grind it or to.
Sure. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you got it going there, and I'm glad you're learning how to do that. That would be fun to do.
It is. It is
So
a
what's
lot of
this
fun.
one behind you? This is brand new, isn't
This
it, to
is
you?
brand new to me. 1953 36.3 Dual bandsaw with the contouring. It's the contouring version, so it's got the hydraulic table, band welder as well, and everything works. Nice machine. Only thing I'm missing on this is the chart.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Surely somebody out there has scrapped out a Dual bandsaw and has the little selector chart on there.
Yeah, I could
And
use it.
we know who can use it right here.
Yes.
And I'm sure somebody out there's got one. So, and that's pretty cool to have that on there. My
it would finish
Dual's
the
got
machine.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it would finish out the look of the machine, and not only for looks. I mean, they're very handy. I
They
use
are.
the one that I have at work all the time because depending on the materials, I mean, if you want your blades to last, they know those charts are there for a reason.
So cool thing, we don't have one to show right now, but there was a certain time period that of all the different materials that was listed on that
Yeah.
chart. During a certain time period, it was only a short period of time, they actually had meteorite
Yeah.
listed
Yeah.
as a material
Our-
to cut.
Our saw at work has meteorite
Yeah.
on the.
And those are affectionately called meteorite saws if
Yeah.
you have one of that vintage. Mine is actually a really early version and it does not have meteorite
Yeah.
on there. I wish that it did.
How many?
Yeah, how many people are
cut
cutting meteorites?
Yeah.
I just think that's hilarious every time I see it. So the cool thing about this one is this is the table, like I said, it's hydraulic. So you can clamp your work to this and turn this on and actually feed it into the blade.
Right, much
and
like a
you've
rolling
got,
saw.
Yeah, and you got all the controls over here to do that. This is really a nice Dual. And with that deep throat, makes it a real nice one
Yes,
as well.
Very, very, very nice saw. It has also a feature where you can turn your work by this handle. So if you're cutting a contoured piece, this handle rotates a cog that rotates a chain that's wrapped around your work. And the only thing you have to do is stand there and rotate this table to cut to a line. It's really neat.
Cool. So, all right.
Then the old clapped out Bridgeport, which is not a Bridgeport, it's actually an X-Acto. This was one of my very first machines that I got, and I've used it. I've used it a ton. It's still a very usable machine, but got a lot of wear on it. But it's made a lot of parts for me.
That's what it's all about. And, that Bridgeport design machine is really the standard. And
Yep.
it's the standard when everybody in China copies it
Yep.
and basically making the same one.
Yep. They are almost they're clones, right?
Right. Yeah, I've heard people actually take parts off of their Chinese saws and put them on a Bridgeport and vice versa. I mean, they're literally a copy.
Yeah, exact
Which has
copy.
to drive Bridgeport absolutely crazy, but I guess their patents and stuff have run out and they can't enforce them any longer. But in some ways, it's kind of the ultimate compliment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree.
Cool.
I agree. So good that everybody wants one.
Tell us about this. This is your lathe.
This is I believe it's a 1943, if I remember correctly. This is a Hindi 16-inch swing, so you can turn a 16-inch part and 30 inches between centers. Nice old, World War II era machine. This is a beast. You can turn some really heavy parts on this. It's extremely sturdy. A lot of cast iron here.
Yeah, it's kind of very similar to the way the Monarchs were built, as far as how the heavy they are. And we were talking about this earlier today, but the Hindi brand, I think, is an underappreciated maker of machines. These guys made an absolutely bulletproof, really nice machine. And I think a lot of people, they're just not familiar with them.
Yep.
And they pass up on these Hindi lathes. And, I'll rank it right up there with the Monarchs and the American Pacemakers and the LeBlancs.
As far as rigidity
Yep.
and stuff like that, I would agree.
I think every lathe has its pros and cons.
Yep.
Every make. But in my book, these Hindi lathes, they deserve the same level of attention that we give a lot of the other
they were
real popular name
bulletproof,
brands.
really. Bulletproof machines.
And
Nice.
it's a beautiful. I love the way that these World War II era lathes look.
Oh, yeah,
I've got 3 Monarch lathes in my shop, and none of them are of that vintage. And my 16-inch Model K lathe, I'd probably trade it to someone for an older World War II era of the same size and everything.
Yeah, they've got
just
a
because
look.
I like the way they look. They're just cool.
They've got a look that's just, I don't know. It's got some beauty to it. That's for sure. All sweeping castings.
Yeah,
no,
they're
very
just
few
beautiful
square.
machines. Beautiful machines.
Very few square corners. They're really nice.
So tell us about your shaper here.
I'm the third owner of this machine. It was originally bought by G&E. I got this machine probably 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. It's a very low hour machine. It's one of the most accurate machines in the shop, minus the surface grinder. Pleasure to run. Definitely a useful machine. Not real fast, but definitely handy, very versatile.
And we were talking about shapers and planers earlier as well. These are not the machine you want to go to if you got to make something fast and
Or make a
for
bunch of
production work. But for a job shop that's just making one-off parts, doing repair work and stuff like that, the versatility of this machine and what you can do on it sometimes kind of outweighs some of the disadvantages of it.
and having the universal table
Yep.
is a major bonus on a shaper. You can cut compound angles. This table will both rotate basically
tilt.
360 degrees, and the vise will tilt up to 15 or 20 degrees, 15 degrees.
Yep.
So you can cut compound angles on it. That's why I got it, is because of how versatile one of these machines were. Plus, tooling is amazingly cheap.
Exactly.
High-speed steel. That's
Yeah.
all you need.
Yep. So, everybody comments, hey, you can make anything on a shaper except money.
That's not true.
I don't think that's true. I mean, yeah, if you're in a production shop, there's better, more efficient ways of doing it. But in a job shop, I think one of these machines is still very much a valuable piece to have around for those one-off
There's
jobs.
certain operations that these machines just do extremely well.
Exactly.
Long, flat surfaces, man, they're great at it.
Absolutely. Hiding back here behind the pile of stuff is...
Yeah, that is the relatively new to me dual milling machine that is in pieces at the moment. Some of the parts, the knee and the table, are being sent off. Well, they're sent off to be ground. This machine had some damage on it when I got it. It is going to be what is replacing the Bridgeport clone that I have.
Right, so this is a really nice, big, heavy milling machine. I'm kind of having to walk around
Yeah.
toolboxes and stuff to get to it.
Yeah, it's
but,
a little hidden back at the moment because it's out of commission. But yeah, 40 taper spindle, just a super heavy knee mill.
Nice.
Castings on this thing are incredibly thick. Should be a great machine to run once I get it all back together. Power feeds in all directions, so should be a great machine.
And you sent the table and stuff up to Cash Masters at
Yeah.
Kinetic and Milwaukee, same guys that ground my my metal planer.
Yep, he's going to
They
be
do a
grinding.
great job.
He's going to be grinding the knee and the table. So it should be basically, for all intents and purposes, a relatively tight machine when I get it done.
Nice. So another one you got here, another do-all machine. This is a nice big heavy-duty drill press.
Yeah, this is a great drill press. It's just a good size, nice big coolant through table with T-slots. And although the foot of this machine is covered at the moment, there's T-slots in the foot as well, so you can swing the table completely out of the way, just like you can on most drill presses. But this one just has a much larger work envelope for the table, makes it really nice. Gear driven on the speeds. It's an 8-speed drill press, 2 adjustable stops. Definitely a nice machine, and a 2-speed motor as well.
Okay. And this is a recent build.
Yes, this is a slow-speed carbide grinder for sharpening, tooling for scraping, or
Using-
touching up inserts if you'd like.
Using diamond wheels on it, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
a whole video of him building this thing from scratch. Did a really nice job on that.
Yeah, it's not done with it, but close.
Good deal. We've been scraping today. Actually, that's one of the Gibbs out of his
Dual
mill
machine,
machine. And we've been doing a little scraping clinic out
Yep.
here. I've been working with him and showing him how to do some power scraping,
Yep.
which you've already done some
I've
scraping.
done some, yes, but I'm far from comfortable doing it. So
Yeah.
having Keith's help is a big bonus. It's
So-
really nice to get some time with somebody who knows more about it than I'm not in the echo chamber when Keith's here, so that's nice.
Good deal. And one of my favorite features about his shop are these windows that look out over a nice little creek. You can hear the water running in here. You probably can't hear it on the video, but really nice.
Yeah.
And one thing too, if you don't watch this channel, you just did a major rebuild
Yes.
of your whole shop.
This
There's
building,
about a year's worth of videos.
a year's worth of videos. Basically I had to. The shop was literally falling down. So I tore out this whole half of the building, put a new roof on it, put a ceiling in it, tore out this wall, which was all block originally and had sunk down about 6 inches, tore it all out, built it big, heavy foundation, poured the floor, and almost all of it by myself. So
And
a
did
lot
an
of work.
amazing job. I never will forget when the first time I saw the side of the shop, you'd never shown it on a video, and showed the floor literally falling off
Yeah,
into the
it
creek.
was, I forget the angle, but it was
Yeah.
extremely steep.
And-
Big crack running all the way down the center of the shop,
And most people would have said just bulldoze the whole thing down and start
which
over.
is probably what should have happened. But
But my hat's off to you because you didn't. You came in here and you
Right.
fixed it.
well, it was
a
the
lot
only
of work.
option that I had, really.
Yeah. It was a lot of work, and you didn't have to move everything out of the shop. You had to move things around in the shop, but
Yes.
the shop was here the whole time.
Yes, I
And,
had still had a place to keep my stuff because I still had machinery in here, not quite as much as what I have now, but it was still, all my tooling and stuff was in here, and yeah, it was a pretty tight squeeze to get everything on the other side that I didn't tear down, but had to support the roof because this is a load-bearing wall, and it had to come out. Built a temporary wall with hydraulic jacks to keep the roof up and
Yeah,
get it higher than
You did an amazing job.
Yeah, it was.
And I
was an
really
adventure.
enjoyed tuning in on Saturday mornings and seeing the latest in that whole
Yeah.
project. So my hat's off to you on
Yeah,
that.
not being a construction guy, it was a big learning experience.
Well, good deal. Well, guys, there you go. Just a quick tour. Again, if you don't follow Steve, I would encourage you to go take a look at his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So tell us about what's your YouTube channel name? How do you get to it? All that.
Steve Summers. Just simply type in Steve Summers in the search and it'll bring me up.
Good deal. And again, go take a look at him. He's got some good stuff out there. And with that, I guess we're going to sign off. As always, thanks you guys for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and Steve's channel if you haven't already.
Please. Good.
And thumbs up, comments, all that kind of good stuff is appreciated. And hey, we'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.